Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to talk about formulas and functions, and we'll also do some practice on our existing Google Sheet. So functions and formula helps us to manipulate data within Google Sheets. So functions, there are a lot of functions, and I'm going to take you through some part of it today. But functions helps you to do a whole bunch of stuff in creating your reports or even building your dashboard. It helps you to add values, subtract, and all of those, similar to formulas. So formulas are like, the normal arithmetic formulas that we have, the plus, minus, divided by, and all of those. While functions is like a built-in formula within Google Sheets. So under this tutorial, I'm going to talk about basic functions, which is also similar to numbers functions because the functions are applied on number data. Then we have the text functions. Text functions are applied on text data. We have logical functions, which helps us to carry out some conditional manipulations on our data. We also have lookup functions and advanced functions. So the first thing here is the basic functions, and it includes sum, average, maximum, and minimum. I'm going to be explaining all of this as we go along in the tutorial. And the next thing is text functions. All of this is applied on text data. We have the concatenate, left, right, mid, and length. Hopefully, we'll get to cover all of this by the end of this video. Another thing is logical functions, which includes the if, and, or not. And we also have lookup functions, which helps us to search values and return specific value based on certain condition within Google Sheets. All of these are really helpful, and you'll see how they work in a minute. So without wasting much time, let's get right into Google Sheets. In Google Sheets, and hopefully we are able to make use of all of these functions I mentioned. So the first one is the sum function. Let's go right into it. Before that, before we start making use of functions, I'm going to add an extra column here and call it functions and formulas. So because I want to establish a relationship between functions and formulas. Like I mentioned in definition, that formulas are like the arithmetic formulas that we know, the plus sign, the minus sign, all of this. While function is like an inbuilt formula within Google Sheets. What this means is that, for example, I need to add up sales. I need to add sales with quantity. So I'm going to name this sales A to make it make more sense, and also name this sales B or sales 2, whatever that means. And I'm going to call this let's just say we want to add 100 bucks to all of the sales that we already made. So don't worry, I'm still going to talk about how to make use of fail and all of those things. I can basically talk about it right now. So yeah, we want to create an extra column called sales. So we have two sales value, the sales A and sales B right here, and all of these are the two sales that we want to add up together to give us the actual sales. So we can simply do this by using, and note, when you want to write a formula within Google Sheets, you click on equal to sign first. Let me see if I need to increase this zoom. So make sure it is very obvious to the high. So yeah, this is very obvious now. So you need to put in your equal to sign, then you come here and click on the value that you want to add. So when I click on 261.98, it signifies F2. What I've been mentioning from the start of the video is that all of these are what cell reference, so it signifies F2. And then I'm going to put a plus sign. So you type in plus, and then you click this. So when you click on the other one, it gives you what F2 plus G2, which gives you also 361.96. And notice something, it says suggested autofill. So Google Sheets is smart enough and is asking you whether you want to apply all of those formula that you've put in the first column, whether you want to apply it downwards. So I'm going to click cancel right now so that I can show you the concept of autofill. So basically what autofill means is you have a formula right here, you're trying to add these two together to give you this, and you simply want to do that for all of the rows in your data. You want to do that for all of the rows in your data. So instead of typing each one after the other, you can autofill. So you want to type it again, I have to do this and this, and then equal to. So instead of doing that repeatedly, you can autofill downward, and all of that formula will be applied to the end of the sheet, or to the end of to where you stop dragging. So here, to autofill, you have to click on this dark blue button here, just click on it and then drag down. So while you're there dragging, the formula will be applied to all of the rows there. And yeah, so to the end of this, you see everything has been applied. So one thing that I want you to understand is you can investigate whether you've autofill correctly or not. And the way to do that is by clicking on each of the cell and checking what is known as the formula bar here. So this is your formula bar and it shows you exactly what the reference is. So when I click on this, it shows me F2 is being added to G2. When I click on this, it shows me F3 is being added to G3. When I click on this, it shows me that F4 is being added to F4 like that. So another way is for you to double click on it. When you double click on it, it highlights what cells are being added together or what cells are being referenced in your formula. So this is something that is really handy because if someone that doesn't understand how this sheet has been calculated comes into this sheet, once you understand the concept of cell reference, you can see exactly what is being added together and what is being subtracted in some cases. So that's the first thing, and that's about sum. So and this is a formula. What I just did right now is using a formula. So I'm going to just use. So I can also make use of function to achieve the same thing. So I can make use of functions to achieve the same thing. So here is functions. And how do I do that? I make use of the sum function, which is addition of two or more values. So if you click on equal to sign and use sum, so the definition here says sum of a series of numbers and or cells. So equal to sum, you can see from this that you need to input values, different values. So let's do this. I will click on the first value here and then I'll click on star because comma rather, not star, comma. So when you click on comma, you can select the other value that you need to add and then close the bracket and click equal to sign. So you see the values are the same because you're doing the same function. And you can also make use of autofill also for what, for some functions. So you can make use of autofill for some functions that will have the same kind of value. So that's the first thing, which is like the sum. So similar thing can be applied to subtraction, but for subtraction you can only make use of formula. So for subtraction you can do equal to this minus this equal to this minus this, and then you can see, so this one is for subtraction. So and this is using formula. So this is for subtraction. So there is no function for subtract, so you have to make use of the normal subtraction here. So that's for sum. Then the next thing is average. So this, I'm going to clear all of this and then we'll have what, sum, then we have average. So the next thing is average. We have to make sure this is using a sum. So let's leave that for now. So the next thing is average, and what average does, it helps us to calculate the average of values. You can think of average as mean of a value. So when you select average, for example, for this value, this true value, so you have to click equal to average, and then so Google Sheet is constantly suggesting the cell reference that we need to select, but you don't need to worry about that if that's not what you want to select. If that's what you want, if that's exactly what you want to select, you can just use the tab and then it's select it for you. But in this case, we only want to average what, sales 1 and sales 2. So let's say we are trying to get a sales average for sales 1 and sales 2. So all you just need to do is highlight the two and then close your bracket and you get what the average of these two sales. So what it is doing exactly in terms of formula is that what is adding this plus this and dividing it by 2. So you see we are getting the same value. So that's what average does. And if you have more than 2 values, it's going to add the 3 together. It's going to add the 3 value and divide it by 3. But this particular, instead of writing all of this formula, that's been inbuilt as a function within Google Sheet. So I want to edit, so I can call this total sales, and then I'll call this average sales. So again, you can autofill or just double click this. So when you double click this, it automatically autofill. Yeah, that's That's cool. Cool stuff, right? So apart from that, we also want to get maximum sales. So we want to get maximum sales. So let's just call it max sales. So this is a little bit different because for max sales, it means we want to get the maximum sales for all of the sales that we have here, or better still, we want to get the maximum sales for these total sales. So we want to get the maximum sale for these total sales. Or another way is we want to get the maximum sales between the two sales. Between sales 1 and sales 2, we want to get the maximum sale. That is it the first sale or second sale? So instead of calling it sales 1 and sales 2, we can call it first sales and second sales. And so what maximum sales means are what? Which of these sales is the highest? Is it the first sales or the second sales? So to do that, we're going to follow the same kind of function, which is what? Equal to max. And here it says maximum value in a numeric data set. So we'll select these two sales and then we'll basically click enter. So when we click enter, we can drag down or we can just double click and it gives us the maximum sale. So if you look at this, it only returns the value that is higher between these two options. So it only returns the value that is higher between the two options. For example, here maximum sales is 261, and then here maximum sales is also 731, which is like the first sales. Here the second sales is the maximum, so it returns what? 100, and here the maximum sale is the first sale, which is 957.5775. So that's for maximum. The next function is minimum sale. So the next function is minimum sales. So similarly is what? Equal to min, which gives you the minimum value, and then you highlight these two. So click on it and drag a little bit and gives you what? And if you can't drag, you can simply type in F2 F3 F2 column F3, just like this, equal to minimum F2 column G2. So it helps you to highlight it, and then you can auto fill by just clicking on this. You can auto fill downward. So and if you notice, it only returns the minimum value. In this case, these 200 are minimum value, so it returns 100. In this case, 14.62 is the minimum value, so it returns 14.62. In this case, the minimum value is 100, and in this case, the minimum value is 22.368. So that's how the function works. And if you have like three different sales, if you have three different sales, let's say you have a third sale, and then I just want to put random number here, and then I just want to, yeah, let's just drag it down, and yeah, so we now have three sales, and from these three we want to pick the maximum minimum sales. So it means something has to change. What has to change is our reference. Initially we were looking at F2 G2, now we have to look at what? F2 to H2. So simply edit this and highlight the three. So F2, G2, and H2. So make sure the three is covered, and then click on this, and you can just use autofill, drag it down, and the new formula will apply. So right now you'll see that what it is picking F, G, and H on all of the rows. It's picking F, G, and H on all of the rows. It's picking F, G, and H on all of the rows, and that's for maximum. So similarly, we can do the same thing for minimum, and it's going to be picking. So we can just edit here from F to H. So the minimum value here is now 32, minimum here is 31, minimum here would be what? Still be 14.62. So let's drag down so that we can see that. So here we have minimum value, and all of these are still showing the minimum value. So that's how it works. It can work for multiple values in the data set, not just two. So that is about basic functions which is applied on numbers. So we'll talk about text functions real quick. And one way to talk about text function is assuming we have this. We have this as a designation. So and then I also use Mr. Mrs. Master, Doctor, Professor, and all of that. So let's just drag it down and give assign different names just randomly. So we have designation for all of these names, and the request was that, oh, we don't want this column, like we don't want designation, or let's say we want just full name with their designation. So I'm going to call this name, or let's say customer name. So we say designation plus customer name. So instead of designation, I think it's better to call it title. So title plus name. Yeah, this looks good. So title plus name. So you have a request that you don't want. Okay, we might actually need to get rid of this, but before we get rid of it, create a new column that has the customer with their title joined together. And assuming you have like thousands of this kind of records, we have about 62 right now, but assuming we have thousands of it, we cannot just start typing Mr. and with the name, then Mrs. and with the name, then this with the name. So it will take a very long time. So all you need to do is what? Apply some text functions to manipulate your text. So it's not only numbers that you can add or subtract or do all of those things together. You can also manipulate your text. So and how to do that for this case is what we are going to be making use of concatenation. I'm going to put this as a comment so that you see how concatenation is spelled. So concatenation, that is what the is just a function that helps you to join two or more texts together. So in this case, we'll be joining title and customer name. And before we start anything, we have to we have to use our equal to sign. So equal to concatenate. So here we have concat and we have concatenate. So we're making use of concatenate. Hopefully we'll make use of concat after some time because it also does similar thing. Or concatenation or concatenate is the actual functions that helps you to add two or more text together. So let's click on concatenate and let's explore what it does. So you can explore what your function does by simply clicking on what this question mark. When you click on question mark, it shows you what concatenate string. So and you can just expand the details to understand what it means. It says what example hello goodbye. You can combine these two together and what append strings to one another. What string means in this case is what is text. So text is a data type called string, and yeah, you can append different sequence. Just make sure that you arrange it in the order that you want it to be. So first thing is here we want to append title to be the first thing, then the customer name. So I'm going to click on title. We have it there. Then you put comma and you click on what this, which is the customer name, and you click what. And notice that what these two are now combined. But what do you observe? What you observe is that what there is no spacing between them, and it looks doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. You need to do something about it. So what you need to do in this case is to add another um string. But in this case, the string would be what just an empty space. So it's important to understand. This might look a little bit tricky, but you need to add a space, and to add a space you cannot just put this and expect everything to go well, right? You cannot just put this and expect everything to go. You need to what represent this space as a string. So what I'm going to do is to represent an empty space as a string. You need to put it in what this inverted comma. Yeah, so when you put it in inverted comma, let me see if I can zoom in even more so that you can see the formula. So you put it in an inverted comma so that Google Sheet can recognize it as a space. So inverted comma, and then you click what equal to sign, and then you have what Mr. Clear Goods, which is really spaced out and looks nice. So in that case, you can now autofill downward, and you notice that all of your names now take that format. So here, Professor Ted, Mr. Ted, Mrs. Ted, and all of those. So you've successfully created what title and name. So we can call this full name. So that's how concatenation works. So we'll create an extra column to explain left, right, and what it means. So what very good example can we use to explain left, right? So the first one is what we want to extract what left means, and this is what I mean. This is the function left, and then there is function right. So what it does is what it helps us to extract numbers, helps us to extract certain characters in the text. Let's say, for example, you need to extract the first three character in segments. Like you need to extract the first three character in the product name rather. So let's say we need to extract the first three characters in product name. We just, for some reason we just need it. Maybe we want to make use of this as our SKU, which is like stock keeping unit. And all we just need is first three character in our product name, which represents our SKU. So what I mean is this: I need to extract BUS from this long text. I need to extract HON from this because this is like first three character. Here I need to extract SCL, which is the first three character, and like that. I can't come here and start typing everything. Like again, it will take a long time to get everything. So for that reason, we can make use of what left or right function. So I'm going to call this skill 1 and skill 2. So all you need to do is what follow the same pattern. Writing functions in Google Sheet is actually simple once you understand the basics, and you can easily look at the function and see how it works. So for this case, just click on what left. So when you click on left, you already see that it has some arguments that you need to fill in: string and the number of characters. So string, which is like the text. Whenever you see string, it means the text that you're trying to extract something from or manipulate. Then the character is just the number of characters that you want to remove from this text or string. So in this case, I'm going to click on I2. When I click on I2, I'm going to use a comma sign, and then the number of characters that I want is just three characters. I'm going to close the bracket and equal to. So you see now that all of these, we only extracted balls from all these products ID. So we can drag and autofill downward. By now you should be accustomed to autofilling, because that's one way to easily get things done on Google Sheets or even Excel. Autofilling, it works like magic. Then here we don't want to make use of left, we want to make use of right. That means our SKU would be the last three character. Now note, left is going to take from the beginning here, while right is going to start from here. So it means what we are trying to extract these three characters that we have here. So in this case, we're going to equal to right, and then select the string, and then select the number of characters that you need to select. So you see that what it has ASE, that's BASE. So you can then drag it down. For this case, this is the character. This is the character. So, and because you're manipulating the text or something, it's not going to pick anything. All of these are what are string as far as Google Sheet is concerned, because it's not just number, they are string. So that's why it's able to extract anything that you have in this text data. So all of these are product of what left, right, and if you notice, when you autofill it, the numbers on the reference or the cell changes. So the way you're dragging it downward is changing the numbers on it. So from I2 it goes to I3, which is like this. So it goes to I3, goes to I4, I5, I6, like that. So understand the concept of cell referencing, and you find every other thing very easy. So the last one would be, let's just call this what mid. So we'll call this mid, and then we'll just apply the function. What it does is what it helps you to get the numbers or the text in the middle by specifying the starting point and the end point. So you can easily get, by specifying the starting point, you can get the text within your string value. So first, let's see how it works. You click on the product name, and then your starting point should be, let's say for example, what our starting point would be after this three that has been selected. So I'm going to call this 4, and it means what, it will skip the first 4 character. It will skip BUSH. It will skip the first 4 character. So let's say it should skip just the first 3 character. Once it picks it now start picking from H, S, O, M, E, like that. So let's say we just want it to skip these 3 and give us what, 5, or let's say 6 characters. So let's say it gives us after skipping it gives us 5 characters. So what it does right now is it picks, so I need to change this to 4 so that it skips BUS. So it starts from H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it selects what 5 character, and then we can drag it down. So this might look a little bit abstract, and that's because I've not even seen any case where I have to make use of made. So I'm just explaining how it works. But you might find yourself in a situation whereby you just need to skip the first 3 characters and then get the rest of the string. So you never can tell what your own use case would be. So it's always important to know how all of these things work. So I'm going to delete this because it's not really useful. And then the last one will just be length. So we want to know the total number of characters that we have in each of these text, just to get an idea of how long or how many characters make up the product names. So what you need to do is click on learn and click on this, and it counts all the number of characters. So this 33 is telling you that what they are what the number of characters here is 33, including the y extra space here, the space here, because Google Sheet will count the space as a character on its own, so it's an entity. So drag it down, and then you set up the characters here. So you can count each and every one of them, and you see that they match this number of characters. So that is how basic functions and text functions, that is how it works on Google Sheets. So I hope you find the video helpful, and in the next video we'll talk about the logical functions and the lookup functions, which are also very powerful too. As a matter of fact, lookup functions represent or serve as one of the most important functions in Google Sheets, because you will be tested on lookups whenever you want to apply for a job as a data analyst, making use of either Google Sheets or Excel. So it's important for you to not miss the next episode where I talk about the logical functions and also the lookup functions. So I hope you find this video helpful. I would like to say kindly subscribe to get more content like this, and also like the video. Thank you, and see you on the next one.